Weather prediction says cloudy, although it is raining. Let's see if it stops, huh? And what did I read today? It just seems like for the most part it was gloomy news, just like that after the New Year's, huh? I guess let's start with the lighter one. How about this one I read? Just like last year, it seems like more officials want to use drones, even though it's constantly, let's just say, fear-mongered and demonized when a recreational guy flies it. This one says, Portland police chief says drones will help investigate crashes. So what's going on here, huh? First they talk about, I suppose, there have been a lot of accidents in southeast Portland, fatalities, for example, with motorcyclists, and because of that, they're hoping to use things like drones, I suppose, to try to speed up things like the investigation. This one says, Portland's police chief is counting on new tech tools in the coming year to help the department cope with this trend and others. After 2023 brought dozens of deaths on the roads of Portland, Chief Bob Day says, moving forward, we will focus on continuing to use data and technology to help us work more efficiently and effectively. This year, we started our drone pilot project. Drones can assist with measurements and assessments required for fatal traffic crashes. What takes a human being hours, the drone can accomplish in minutes. It also has been used by Metro Explosive Disposal Unit to gather information from a safe distance about possible explosive devices and other incidents involving danger to the community. We launched a dashboard so the public can see where and how often we are using the drones. That's kind of an interesting point there too, because if you guys remember, there was that story in the other area, I believe it was in California, they just had that lawsuit per se saying you can't hide, I guess, all of your drone footage without police. So in this case, again, will transparency in these instances make people more comfortable with officials using drones? And it also says, we are anxious to implement the body-worn camera program in 2024. Our pilot this year helped outline small adjustments we need to make regarding policy and training. We'll be working with a vendor on acquiring the equipment and training the rest of our personnel. Kind of that example too. Do you treat this drone as just like a regular camera? If that is the case too, why all the fear mongering in terms of a regular person using this stuff? Again, it's one of those things, all of a sudden, when officials use it, I guess it's okay, huh? Let's see how the year pans out. And the other news, at first, it didn't seem like people in Japan were having a good New Year's. First, there were things like an earthquake apparently. Can you imagine that right on New Year's? And now apparently there was a plane crash. Literally 2 planes colliding with each other. This one says, planes catch fire after a collision at Japan's Haneda airport, killing 5. Hundreds evacuated safely. A passenger plane and a Japanese Coast Guard aircraft collided on the runway at Tokyo's Haneda airport on Tuesday and burst into flames. Transport Minister Tetsuo Saito confirmed that 379 occupants of Japan Airlines flight JAL 516 got out safely before the plane was entirely engulfed in flames. The pilot of the Coast Guard plane also escaped, but 5 crew members died. Saito said, that is unfortunate, and as they mentioned, there were videos and stuff online of the actual crash and all that. Here saying, local TV video showed a large eruption of fire and smoke from the side of Japan Airlines plane as it's taxied after landing. The area around the wing then caught fire. Footage an hour later showed the plane fully on fire. It says the plane was an Airbus A350 that had flown from Shin Chitose Airport near the city of Sapporo to Haneda. How does this happen, especially in the airport area when people are landing and all that? You would think they'd be extremely cautious too, right? In terms of, okay, is your area clear and so forth? Unfortunate situation overall. And again, what is going on right in the New Year's too around that area, huh? Hopefully things get better. And I was reading this piece of news which was kind of fascinating because apparently, I guess, the president of one of the largest, I guess, most prestigious schools, Harvard University, was caught, I guess, plagiarizing someone's work to get their PhD, and it was only uncovered recently, and because of that, the person now resigned, whereas before they stayed put, and you can imagine the controversy there. What the head official is plagiarizing? What does that say for all the students and so forth? Like, you can do this too? But here it says, Harvard President Claudine Gay resigns amid plagiarism claims backlash from anti-Semitism testimony. Although, what's with that phrase there, anti-Semitism testimony? Isn't it just someone plagiarizing, for example? It says Harvard University President Claudine Gay resigned Tuesday amid plagiarism accusations and criticism over testimony at a congressional hearing where she was unable to say unequivocally that calls on campus for the genocide of Jews would violate the school's conduct policy. Gay is the second Ivy League president to resign in the past month following the congressional testimony. Liz McGill, president of the University of Pennsylvania, resigned December 9th. Gay, Harvard's first black president, announced her departure just months into her tenure in a letter to the Harvard community. Following the congressional hearing, Gay's academic career came under intense scrutiny by conservative activists who unearthed several instances of alleged plagiarism in her 1997 doctoral dissertation. Harvard's governing board initially rallied behind Gay, saying a review of her scholarly work turned up, quote, a few instances of inadequate citation. And apparently it happened multiple times, because it says days later, the Harvard Corporation revealed that it found 2 additional examples of duplicative language without appropriate attribution. So I guess with all that, she had to resign, I suppose. Too much, I guess, negative press and all that. Although here, it seems so divisive, like with these types of articles that I read all the time. It's turning something into, I guess, like here, it should just be a case of plagiarism. They're turning it into something else. Like, it sounds so political. It says Gay's resignation was celebrated by the conservatives who put her alleged plagiarism in the national spotlight. Christopher Rufo, an activist who has helped rally the GOP against critical race theory and other cultural issues, said he's, quote, glad she's gone. Rather than take responsibility for minimizing anti-Semitism, committing serial plagiarism, intimidating the free press, and damaging the institution, she calls her critics racist. And again, it sounds like some people are trying to make this into, I guess, like a racial issue per se. It says Reverend Al Sharpton in a statement called pressure for Gay to resign, quote, an attack on every black woman in this country who's put a crack in the glass ceiling and an assault on the health, strength, and future of diversity, equity, and inclusions. Critics welcomed her decision. Kind of makes me think too, and I'm trying to think of the right ways to express this, but you have to try to find ways to view this stuff in a neutral manner, because all this talk like here about racism and so forth, I don't think it's relevant per se in regards to someone cheating, because the danger in always bringing that up in defending someone's, I guess, actions in that way is you could be easily manipulated as well in that regards. It kind of reminds me of the topic where a lot of people I hear personally, they say, for example, if you are a visible minority and all that, you cannot be racist. I'm thinking, that makes absolutely no sense. You could be a, quote, visible minority of sort, and you could be racist against who isn't, let's just say, a visible minority in the area. I mean, it's no different. I mean, for me, for example, if I was to be that blind and say never, that means I could be easily manipulated. So what would you think in this situation? And it makes you wonder too, is it one of those cases where do people have to lie, cheat, and steal to get ahead in life? Like in these cases, for example. All right, see you guys later.